Hello, Eduardo. I hope things are going well with you. I'm happy to give you some feedback on your essay. I appreciate your desire to do your best on this assignment. So let me close down some apps so I can look at it. So the first thing I look at is just the format and make sure everything is correct. Looks pretty good. I'm going to try to submit something. Maybe I'll email it to everybody earlier or later. This week is so when you format an essay, just you'll have your name, the teacher, class date, due. Everything will be indented. Like this would be indented a little bit more. Like I just hit the tab, and then that's how that works. So little things like that, not a big deal, but they do make a difference. It's just the kind of look to it. That's something I would suggest doing. That way, it's not like you just start off on the wrong foot. You just want to start off on the right foot. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your essay. The title's Miracles. I believe in miracles. I believe that God prepares little miracles along our lives to help us increase our faith while strengthening us to face the challenges that life offers us. Okay, your thesis is very clear. All right. You are to the point. It's a little short. I just wonder if there might be a way to develop that introduction a little bit more, maybe add a sentence. I don't know. Um, just seems a bit short. Not that it's bad. The punctuation's fine, but I think maybe just a sentence or more would help. You're getting into the body paragraph here, so let's continue. As a child, I used to attend primary church. I was especially touched by the hymns we sang, describing the life of Christ and his miracles, as well as other miracles that occurred to prophets. But my faith had not developed to the level of believing that miracles could occur outside the scripture environment. In my mind, miracles were limited to ancient, special people that had lived many years ago. From my viewpoint at that time, miracles were locked inside the standard works, and there was no way for them to happen in the present. Very, very well written so far. I don't have any issues with the punctuation. I appreciate the sentence variety, your complexity of language here and syntax, and just trying to convey it. You have, like, you begin with this phrase as a child. And you'll know as you kind of work with language more that putting this first makes it as an emphasis. You could say, I used to attend primary at church as a child. But by putting this at the front of the sentence, this emphasizes that as a child, I used to attend primary church, right? And that's what punctuation should hopefully do, is help you and the reader better kind of know what you're thinking, right? And communicate what you want to communicate. So this paragraph's just fine. Let me keep reading. I'm not going to read everything out loud, just a little bit to kind of help you get a sense of what I'm thinking. So I'll pause this and come back. All right, so just finishing the essay. It's very suspenseful. I'm like enthralled with what you're saying. Like, oh my gosh, you're ready to, you're, you're overcoming this very difficult thing, and how it happened was you just listening to somebody on TV. And I think there's a lesson in that too, about science and religion working together, right? A doctor telling you about how to do this. I think, for example, medicine is okay. It's not like we have to believe that we can overcome things without medicine. And so it's your story is really interesting. Um, so, anyways, just kind of to some of what you're saying here. I noticed you're using semicolons a lot, which is, I think, which is good. I love semicolons. I want you to be careful not to just like put lots of semicolons in, even if it's grammatically correct. You may start to distract the reader because it's just semicolon after semicolon. I think, like this one's pretty, I think, appropriate. Suddenly, I felt the surroundings drowning out. Semicolon was like listening to. It was like listening to people at a long distance. Then you have another semicolon. The beautiful afternoon we had been enjoying seemed to darken, which I actually, I thought that was okay when I was reading through. I was like, okay, you don't normally see two semicolons in a sentence. It's probably not normal. in most essays, but I didn't feel like it was a bad thing. I'm just kind of cautioning you not to do it a lot because then it could become a problem. I did see a mistake you can correct pretty easily here. I thought to myself, so capitalize S. Okay. Anytime you start a new thought in it's a sentence, and since it's like basically a sentence, you're going to capitalize the first letter of it, right? There was another thing I wanted to mention. I think that was pretty much the like only mistake in your essay as far as grammar goes. Um, Although I still would indent these over a little bit. But the last question I have is, what happened? Like you were talking about your mission, you recovered, um, and thank goodness, right? Obviously, you survived because you're here writing about it. But so you said, when I thought it was the end, a gush of air entered my lungs, allowing me to recover almost immediately. I think it would be nice to hear a little bit, maybe a sentence or two more about what's happened since then, or if you just dealt with asthma and you just have learned to like overcome it through good exercise and just eating healthy or whatever. Just I think a sentence or two more would be nice closure on this whole experience that you've had with asthma. Okay, how it's kind of happened since that experience to now, and then you can kind of conclude like, yeah, many times miracles do not happen, and something like that. Okay, so just a little bit more details here, and I would, if you can, try to develop this paragraph a little bit. I'm just suggesting that because as we continue on with these essays, you're going to want to kind of get more into the traditional type of essay where you have introductory paragraphs with the thesis statement, body paragraphs, concluding paragraphs, and so forth. And if you can do that, especially if you plan on going into college, that will be helpful. Okay, just to kind of be on the right track. I love doing this, so please ask every time you need a question or answered. Okay, it gives me joy. So good luck.